Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, that was a nice one.
Oh, hello.
So, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about make peace, not war. So
We read so we normally every morning we read from the Daily Stoic.
yeah,
And today that was a topic, and it was a really apt reading. So that's why we're like, shall we make a vlog about that? Because it's in today's world, you know, so many people are seeking war. When you, especially, well, we live in London still for a short bit, but when you're outside, people, there's so much anger, and because that stress, there's people's
people
stress
are
levels.
fighting. They're fighting to get to their jobs. They're fighting with public transport. They're fighting to get their coffee. They're fighting to get their lunch. You know, time pressures make them fight time.
Yeah.
You know, and all that kind of that go war battle mentality, just it bleeds into our relationships, and it just starts like hammering them, you know, and just takes out the love and the patience and the kindness from them.
And when then something happens which isn't planned or wasn't scheduled, then
you're already in fight or flight mode,
Yeah.
so you just stay in that, and then it's a battle.
yeah, and that increases most of the time. So then you'll get even more frustrated or angry, and you know, we all have these days. Like this morning, we were watching the news, and something made me really angry, and I just felt myself getting really angry. I was like, well, I've got a choice now after this reading. Shall we just switch off the telly? And that in that moment, that's the best, because I can't do anything. I can get frustrated at the TV, which is behind you. That's why I'm pointing that way. But yeah, I can't do anything about it unless I just switch it off and just focus on me again.
And then also within that, when you have arguments in your relationship or with friends, you know, we all kind of go into that fight mode of like, me, my thing, what about my, and it's really hard to remove yourself from that. And it's important to express that anger, obviously not at the person, and try not to say things that you'll regret. You know, watch your language in that moment, you know, because you can't take those things back. But as well, just what is in that moment that you have to acknowledge. You know, you have to acknowledge the thing you're angry about. You can't just hide it. I mean, that will cause you pain and make you unwell. But then at the same time, you can't just let it run, you know, because if you if you just let it run and you just keep banging on about your same point, you know, maybe it's not even your fault. Maybe, you know, the other person is the one that's actually wrong, but that doesn't matter. None of that matters. Take the humility to say, I'm sorry, even if it's not your fault, just for the sake of peace, you know?
Yeah, because that will give you time to just go back and go out of that energy. And like, you know, personally, I sometimes can overanalyze things, as you know, and then because my brain wants to have control, and I want to have control, so then I'm over talking and over analyzing,
and I think we all do that, you know. It's not just, you know, male and female, you know, and everyone out there, you know, in modern society, that's what we're doing. We're overanalyzing everything. But
it's good to just sometimes just stop and breathe,
and just choose the peace and the kindness, and you know, even if you gotta push against that anger inside yourself. And another little thing I want to bring up as well is, which is quite dangerous when you're in these moments of, you know, fighting, is going back over things in the past. And you know, that's really not helpful, and something that, you know, I experienced recently, and I don't have a good memory. There's a lot of people out there that have fantastic memories, much better than mine. And those people sometimes like to remind you of things that you've done before that are similar to the situation you're in now. And as much as that makes them feel vindicated and makes their ego feel righteous, it just drags up, you know, it just dredges up the past, and it just is not gonna move the problem onward. And we gotta let sleeping dogs lie and try to just not count the cost, just to think, you know what, he apologized for that or she apologized for that, and I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to bring it up again and punish them for it. Yeah.
And that was also that came up in an argument that we had recently, because well, something had happened, and there had been chat about it, and then when I felt in a victim mode, even though it was a while away, I don't know, my ego wanted to have confirmation, or wanted to hear like, no, but you know what, you're sad, you should. And the moment I already said it, and then I said it again, and I just knew, like, with my intuition, I knew I just pressed the wrong button. And
or we just push it too far.
Yeah.
Sometimes we push it too far just to kind of grind it into that person because you're right. And even if you are right, and even if the person who has said, I don't want you to bring that up again, feels right in saying that, you just all have to step away and breathe and try to just make peace. You know,
exactly. And that was,
it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. You're never going to find that out. You can constantly argue till you're blue in the face.
Because everyone speaks from their own point of view and their own egos and their own worlds. Yeah, but you did this to me. Oh, but you did this to me, and you said this, you know, and in the end, it's then time to come together, and we're quite good at
and both say just I'm sorry, even if you don't even know what you're apologizing for.
That it does help. And I'm not just saying sorry for the sake of saying sorry, but actually, you know what, sorry, I'm gonna let this go, because no one, what do you want to hear, you know, what do you want to, what do you want the other,
you both have to do that,
what do you want the other person to achieve, because probably that's something that you have to work on, instead of putting the blame onto the other person or something. So that was actually what we wanted to chat about. So
the challenge is really then to just find those recent times of when you've gone into fight mode, when you've been angry at someone and you've really just kind of, you've let it run, and maybe you've been upset at yourself, or noticing when that happens this week, and just to try to approach it differently. Try to think, you know, how can I approach this differently than I've done before? Try and break that chain of continuing to fight. Just stepping back, breathing.
Making a different choice that
even if you need to step away from the argument, move out of the room or move away from the person just to collect yourself. That's a good way of doing it too, because if you're just going to stay
in that
in that zone, it'll just kind of spiral. So we challenge you to just step away, breathe, and choose peace.
Yes.
And love, not war.
Well, thank you for watching. And if you have
any comments,
if you have any requests,
any topics you want us to talk
about,
then
let us know. Okay, well, have a good week.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.